And here we go. I'm Suzanne Taylor King. I'm a business coach for entrepreneurs, and that's all you're going to hear about me today. No fluff, no BS, and no hyped up nonsense of me talking about myself for 20 minutes. We're going to get right into it today. So the first thing, if you are here today to communicate with your ideal prospects better, let me see a wave. Let me see a wave, right? We all want to communicate with our ideal clients better. We want to be more authentic. Right. We want to be more connected with them. David Visco, could you mute, please? And if we can
to the thing,
use,
why do you need me to? You need to mute us.
I muted him. We all need to be able to communicate with our ideal clients in that authentic voice. And if we can use AI to do that at an accelerated level and have it actually sound like us, well, we're way ahead of 90% of other entrepreneurs. So I want to just congratulate you for seeing that. And now, for those of you who follow me or see my posts, many of you have noticed some story posts lately. Those story posts are regular stories that position me as someone like you who is doing something in her business that maybe you want to do. And many people come from me posting stories or things about my struggles, total vulnerability, and you can actually do that with Chat GPT. So that's what we're going to start with today. So first thing I want you to do is, if you don't have the Google Drive folder, I'm going to grab the link for you. Now, this folder has all of the worksheets for today, and this is very hands-on today. We will actually be doing the work. So you will have an opportunity to ask questions. You will have an opportunity to do the work and get instant feedback if you're doing it correctly. So I just shared a link in the chat that is accessible to all of you. That is your Google Drive folder. What you're going to want to do is make a copy of that folder and save it to your own Google Drive. So you want to do that now. And then once you do that, you want to open document number 1. And that's where we're going to start today. Now, for this to work at the best level, you need to have a paid version of ChatGPT, which is ChatGPT 4, which requires a $20 a month payment. I've heard right now they are on a wait list for that. So if you can't upgrade, it's totally okay. You will get decent results today, but just know you're going to want to put that on your to-do list and come back and upgrade. Second thing, we're going to program it first with your custom info. So what you're going to need to have before we do that very first step is your bio and a couple unique facts about you. So for me, that looked like I love to read. I love personal growth. I'm a surfer. I love the beach. I love off-color humor. All of that is programmed into my Chat GPT. So that's what we're going to do first. Any questions right now? Raise your hand, digital or otherwise, and we're going to jump in. Hey, Rachel, Dorothy, great to see you. Vicky, great to see you. Harry, Doreen, awesome. For anyone who is new here, raise your hand if you don't have access to ChatGPT yet. Everybody good on that? Okay, awesome. All right, your Google Drive folder, for those of you who just came in, the link's in the chat. I'll put it back in there just in case, so everybody has it. There you go. And we're going to screen share and we're going to go right to ChatGPT. All right. This is what it should look like. Now, while I'm screen sharing, I'm not going to be able to see everybody's hands. So please, if you need me to stop or you have an important question, just unmute and say, Suzanne, and I will stop and I will let you talk because this is interactive. I want you to get the most out of it. So this is where we're going to start first. And you can see over here, you'll see your name in the lower left. I want you to come over to there and click on your name. And you're going to see some things that open up. I didn't even know that was there 6 months ago, but now I know. And what you want to do is you want to go to custom instructions. And you can see what I have entered. What would you like ChatGPT to know about you to provide better responses? So this is where you're going to put about 1,500 words. You see, I only have 270. I could put more, and this will help it generate better responses. All right, so you're going to fill that in now. If you have a great LinkedIn bio, put the first couple paragraphs here. You could put your belief statements if you have those. If you're one of my clients, most likely you have belief statements. And then how would you like ChatGPT to respond? I already know that I write in a casual, conversational tone with authority in the business space. And I love to have strong opinions. And that's all I put. You can put more if you would like. You could add in using quotes. I love Stoic philosophy. I love learning and books. Mention resources. So you see where I'm going with this, right? This is how you get it programmed and talking like you. Now, if you want to go to the extra step, if you write on a regular basis, blog posts, social media posts, you could copy one of those posts, put it into chat and say, analyze this post for writing style and tone of voice. And then you could get some more feedback about what your authentic tone is. All right, any questions so far? Go to your name on the lower left, custom instructions, fill that out now. Do that now while we're here. You can see it even gives you some recommendations. How do you want to be addressed? Should ChatGPT have opinions on topics or remain neutral? So I'm going to stop there and let everybody do that work. Is there any questions about that? Just go ahead and raise your hand. Go ahead, Robert. Unmute yourself.
Hi, Suzanne.
Hi.
Great to meet you. Thank you. And David, thank you for the introduction and inviting me. I've always wondered this. Is there a difference if you were to type in ChatGPT with, say, if you were to put in quotes in parentheses? Does using those type of symbols have any effect in the way you write? As an example, if I was to not have the right word, but I want to put something in and ultimately have ChatGPT generate something for me, could you put it, say, in parentheticals and say name as opposed to, person's name or something like that, that it will pick up that I don't have the word, but I want you to understand to use that?
Yes. Yes, it will do that. And I routinely, if I'm writing something like an email, and I want to use it for multi-purpose things, I'll put in quotes name of program or name of person, and it will do that for
So
you.
in quotation marks.
I use the parentheses,
Okay,
but it will recognize that. Yes.
great. Thanks.
Welcome. Any other questions before we move on to the next step? John, go ahead.
Yes, Suzanne, this is great. So just real quick, so if we enter initial data in those two fields, and as we use ChatGPT and we don't quite like what it's producing, and we go back in and edit that initial information, the new responses will be reflective of the new
Yes.
information we put in. Is that the best way to do it, or?
Yes. Now we're going to get a little more into your brand language specifically and programming a thread of conversations. That's document number 1. This is your overall for all of your threads that you create. This is what you want it to know about you.
Yeah.
So who are you at your core? And it could be more personal and definitely include the tone of voice things. But now once we move to document number 1 and we start creating your brand language, that's going to look like one thread to create tons of content. And I'll explain further as we go.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Vicky.
Since I'm on the waiting list on the actual ChatGPT, I actually have a membership to have through something else. It does not have those settings available. Can we write that and just have that at the beginning and just copy and paste that each time at the beginning of our prompts? The things that you're wanting us to do?
You can. After we program your brand language today, you're going to have a 3-sentence statement about your brand, and I would use that because it's going to say all of it in one paragraph.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, Charlie.
We're only limited to a certain number of characters or words.
Mm-hmm.
So as we build our do we have to enter in multiple times to get all the information in?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So now, if you want to summarize something like your full bio from LinkedIn, you could copy your full bio from LinkedIn, put it into ChatGPT and say summarize in 1,500 words or less. And then you could go over to your custom instructions and put it in place like that if you'd like.
Got it.
Dorothy.
How you like ChatGPT to respond? What do you put in there?
So what I would do for you, Dorothy, is copy, since Dorothy writes the newsletter every week, copy the text from one of your newsletters, put that into ChatGPT, paste it in there, and before you paste it, say analyze this text for tone of voice and style writing. And then put that into your custom instructions, whatever it says.
Thank you.
Welcome. Go ahead, Craig.
Hi, Suzanne. Hey, did I understand that you can add in multiple 1,500 segments or just one?
Just one in those custom instructions. But as we move forward, you're going to see how to add more.
Okay, great. Thanks.
Okay. Nicole, yes, since you don't have the paid version, just follow along in your regular ChatGPT and the results just won't be as robust and as on target. And I'm going to show you some of the results from one of my clients who's already done this work and what he got back. He's actually going to be here at about 12:30 today to join us for the rest of the class. He did everything we're going to do today, and what came out, I was blown away because of how authentic it was. to him. And many of you know Jason Croft. So you'll get to see his results from this today. All right. Is everybody finished with your custom instructions? Robert, good to see you. Thanks for joining last minute. 5 minutes ago, Robert hopped into this today, so thank you. All right, you're going to open next document number 1 in your Google Drive folder, and I am going to go over that with you because that's what we're going to do first. Document number 1 is your 30-minute personal brand. I'm going to share my screen again. And here's where we're going to start. So, as I said, make a copy of everything. And what you're going to do is step 1. This is where we're at. And we're going to model the hero of your business. Okay. Now, if none of these resonate for you, they are totally masculine, I will admit. They are based on superheroes. But it is to give you an idea of where to start. You can decide that you don't want to be a superhero, that you want to create your own hero, and that's totally fine. But just to give you an idea, this gives you some different places to start with your brand language. Now, depending on your brand and what you stand for, here's what I created for myself. Okay. My hero's name is STK because that's my nickname. I thought that was a pretty cool superhero name. I stand for honor, responsibility, inner wisdom, and strength. I stand against for deception, fluff, and fake income claims. Come to my training today and I'll show you how to make $10,000 with ChatGPT. No, not doing that. I stand against that. My flaws, I'm a workaholic because I love what I do. Isolation and loneliness, even though I'm on Zoom all day, every day, and I struggle with guilt. So this is really important for your brand. Now, you can pick one of these that I've laid out for you that matches you the best, and then do some edits. Do some edits. So if you like Captain America and you love loyalty and democratic ideals, but not so into liberty, put something else there. Really customize that hero. Okay, that's our step 1. So you want to create your hero now, and we'll come back, and I'm going to do this right along with you. So I'm going to copy mine, and then I'm going to come back to the instructions for the hero. I've chosen my hero, add or subtract, and don't be tempted to change too much. And we're going to use this in a prompt. Okay? How's everybody feel? You got it? Got your hero? Have any questions? All right, here we go to the next step. And don't worry, you have access to this so you can play. Create now, and we can come back after this is over and refine it again for yourself. Okay, so what I want you to do is copy yours and open another document to save all of these things we paste. Or you can come here to document number 2, and I've given you a place to save everything that we create in ChatGPT today. So if you want, paste your superhero right in this document. Okay? Now we're going to go back to chat.
You
Yes?
said, can you use multiple, or you think it's best to just use one?
Just one. Just one. You can add a little bit to it if you would like. But when we move on to step 2, and this is where we're going to go to ChatGPT, and we're going to ask it this prompt right here, which is right in your document. My audience is, and you're going to fill in the part that's in parentheses. And you're going to ask it, is that a clearly defined audience? Put your hero aside for now at the bottom of your document. And this is the first prompt we're going to type in to ChatGPT. I'm going to put it in the chat just in case you need it. I have to stop screen share to put in the chat. When are they going to fix that? All right, so that's the first prompt you're going to use. Now, for those of you that have ChatGPT 4, it should be lit up right here. Your choices, 3.5 or 4. Start this thread with 4, and we don't need any plugins right now. And for those of you who don't know how to use the plugins, we'll address that at the end of class today. All right, so we're going to come here and we're going to type in that prompt or paste it, and you're going to go right to this section. My audience is entrepreneurs who are looking to increase authority and influence to attract their ideal clients. That's mine. Need help with yours? Raise your hand. My audience is, I'm going to use Dorothy as an example. I know her brand really well. My audience is female leaders, CEOs, executives who are in transition and looking to, I would say, step into their leadership role. Charlie, your audience is business owners, entrepreneurs, or corporate refugees who are looking for what's next in their business. Anybody else need help with that? Just unmute and ask because I can't see everybody's hand. Okay, so now we're going to hit go, and chat is going to say if that is a clearly defined audience or not. Now, it's going to tell me what it needs to be more specific, what detail it needs to be more specific. So this is the information that we have to give it in order to speak our brand at that next level. So when you see this, that makes you realize, oh, I've just been saying I work with holistic business owners, but I'm not being specific enough. So it's really showing you how to narrow that down.
Am I just going up to the prompt where you inputted one more time?
Sure. So from here to here is my custom prompt. You're going to enter in what it needs to be for you. Who's your ideal client? Who is that person? Go ahead. Who has questions? Go ahead, Nikki.
Well, were we supposed to do anything with the superhero yet? Were we supposed to paste that into
Nope.
ChatGPT? No.
No, that's just over to the side.
Okay.
Now we're getting what more information does it need? Okay. What more information does it need? Now, did you get your questions back? And do you see how you're probably not being specific enough when you ask questions? And this is why we get generic information, because we're not being specific enough. So now I'm going to go and grab my my up-leveled. Go ahead.
Suzanne's correct. Hey, mine came back saying it was very well, clearly defined,
Excellent.
which is good. And so then what it's doing, and let me just look over there, it's saying to further refine your audience description, consider exploring the following aspects, things like professional backgrounds, personal goals. So it's not giving me any, because it's already clearly defined. What do I do with that additional information?
What was the questions that it asked you?
It wasn't really questions. It said to further refine your audience description, consider exploring the following aspects: professional backgrounds, personal goals, health and wellness history, psychological traits, financial status, things like that.
Okay. Okay, so that's where you would just narrow down who you want to work with
Okay.
a little bit more. Meaning, you know, what size, who is your ideal client? And I can help you a little more.
High performing executives, business leaders, and entrepreneurs over the age of 50 who've reached a point in their life where they're saying, what's next?
Okay. All right. So you want to really define where they're at income wise,
Yeah.
type of business wise. So if you could narrow that down a little smaller, and not to say you can't have more than one, but if you do this for one person, say the Fortune 500 CEO who's retiring at 55 and doesn't know what to do with his life after that.
Okay, got it.
You know, and then
Yeah.
you could do another whole thread for somebody who's in the manufacturing space and run a warehouse his whole life and now doesn't know what to do with himself.
Got it. That's helpful, and that's a helpful interpretation of what ChatGPT is coming back. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Okay. Any other questions before we move on to the next point? So you have to answer those questions in a really defined way. And I'm going to share what that looks like. And as you go through this document, we might not be able to get your whole document done today, but I want to give you the gist of what you need to do so you can go home and have your whole brand identity filled out for yourself. All right, no other questions. I'm going to go back to my screen share. And here's the next step. So it's asking these questions, and I am going to type in, well, paste in my updated information. My audience is, the industry focus is coaches, consultants, authors, and speakers. Business size, currently making 25 to 100K per month. Geographic location, global. Pain points, time off, personal stress, cash flow, scaling, employee management, wanting to do something different, business pivot or new venture. So you can see I'm getting really, really specific for my one-on-one consulting. And I'm just going to hit enter. I didn't even give it any prompt, but what it's going to tell me is now that I have a well-defined and specific target group, that this clarity is crucial for tailoring your coaching and services effectively. And it's going to give me some recommendations here as well. And this is what you want it to do for you after you answer those questions. The next step on the document is, based on the above, can you give me at least 10 options of a more clear and defined way to describe my audience? This is so good. Now I'm going to go back to chat. And look, it already picked up. Do you see what it did here? Check that out. I told it I love quotes and Stoic philosophy. It's even giving me my answers the way I want to read them. I think that's really cool. Okay, so now I'm going to prompt it, that next prompt in document number 1, based on the above, can you give me 10 options of a more clear and defined way to describe my audience? Now, this is what we're going to copy and paste into document number 2. Now, look how specific this is getting for me so that I can talk to specific groups of people in my content. I know exactly who to write to. I know exactly who to write blog posts to. It's really, really good. Okay, as soon as this is finished, I'm going to copy and paste that over here at the bottom of this document. Okay? Now, my next prompt, you're going to paste the results. All right, it's all done. So I'm going to take these 10 results and I'm going to paste that into document right here, the long version my brand is all about. Our next step is this. You are a professional branding consultant, and your objective is to help me create a highly engaging personal brand. My audience is, now this is where it gets really fun. I'm going to copy this next prompt. I'm going to go over. I'm going to paste it. And where it says audience, I'm going to pick one of these, just one. And because former athletes are one of my favorites, and I haven't done this one yet, I'm going to take former athletes and I'm going to paste it right in here. And I'm going to hit send. Now, this is going to create a brand language that speaks to former athletes. And I'm going to stop there because that's a lot. And I'm going to go over document number 1 again so you have it down. Answer the following questions. So you're going to do this prompt first. And then, based on the above, give me 10 options. Then we'll move on to the next. I'm going to stop and I want you to go do it. Go do it right now and see what it comes up with. Do you have questions? Do you need help? It's your chance. You all look like deer in the headlights. Am I going too fast? Yes, going too fast. Okay. It's a bad habit.
Okay, so I can, maybe some are like me, but I got these 10 questions back from ChatGPT.
Mm-hmm.
I now have kind of refined what they're looking for. And I think you're 2 miles ahead of me.
Okay. Okay.
So I've
Thank you.
already committed to watching the replay, but I feel like I'm making a lot of progress, but
Yes. Okay. All right. So I will take that and absorb that. And this shows you how I can do this for a client in less than an hour. I'm used to doing it. So, what help do you need answering those questions for your brand? I'm happy to hot seat someone and answer those questions for you or help you. Catherine, yes, there will be a replay, but you have to get in my members area and I'll make sure everybody has that information to do that. Who wants to be on the hot seat? Who needs help answering those questions about your brand? Go ahead, Nikki. You had your hand up first.
Well, I'm still on the part where we entered the very first prompt, and then I got a similar response where ChatGPT said to further refine this, and it gave me 8 bullet points. So I'm answering those 8 bullet points right now.
Okay. Okay. Do you need help on any of those bullet points?
Like the common challenges, it's saying that it's very general. People that work with me tend to have self-doubt. They lack confidence and motivation. They get overwhelmed. It's super general, and I'm trying to think how I can make it more specific.
If you want my advice, pick a profession that you focus on.
Okay, that's well.
Overwhelmed. A leader, a CEO, somebody.
I guess it would be a small business owner or a solopreneur. Those are most of the people that I work with.
Yeah, it's not to say you couldn't work with somebody else who,
right,
runs a bookstore, but that still falls into the entrepreneur category. So if you try to narrow it down to profession, it's really, really helpful. And then once you have the profession, you can use some sort of psychographic to describe them. So 90% of my clients are male, over 50, have some sort of athleticism in their current or their past. They're spiritual. They go to church every Sunday, or they have some sort of spiritual practice. They have a personal development, habit, a morning routine. Like, I started to notice all of these things that my clients have in common. So the more and more people that you work with, the more information you're going to have. But for right now, pick your favorite client of all time. I will include in Google Drive folder, there's a document that basically tells you how to think about your favorite client and what you should know about them on a really, really personal level. And, it wasn't until the document in your folder is called the Client Mind Reader. And this will be helpful for any of you who haven't worked with 100, 1,000 people yet. You really have to pick one person who you absolutely love to work with and really go deep on that person and really figure out, you really want to figure out who they are. And that's called the Client Mind Reader. And I just put my notes on how you can do that. So Nikki, that might be really helpful for you to go through that document and, really figure out who that person is before you come back and start answering all of those random questions with ChatGPT.
Okay, thank you.
Christelle.
Yes, speaking of that, what if what you do is industry agnostic? For example, because my services are done for you, so it doesn't matter if you're a coach or an author, you are a financial advisor, those are the people that are my clients right now. So that's why I'm like, if you have anyone who needs to, promote their services, being your client, how do you narrow it down to one profession?
Well, for someone like you wouldn't really have to say one profession. You could say coaches, consultants, service providers. You could say 2 or 3. If you don't do that and you go out to network or post on social media and your content is speaking to anyone, no one will hear it.
No, right now I speak to those, right? But I was asking because you are explaining how to, make it more specific. That's what I say, okay, if that's the case, that's going to be a problem for me because right now, that's exactly what I'm doing. I'm speaking to those people.
Okay.
But if it's just one, put them all in one basket, that's going to be challenging.
Yeah, you could still say all three of those, but pull in some of the psychographics for them. So meaning they like sports, or they like essential oils, or they like, rap music, or they like country music. Like pull in some very specific things about them for the clients that you enjoy working with. So I notice my clients who are spiritual and connected to themselves, they get better results with me. Awesome. My clients who understand the athlete's mindset, they get better results. So I include that in my language and the things I talk about. Does that make sense? Okay. Charlie, you had a question. Go ahead.
No, I didn't.
Oh, you're getting confused, it said in the chat.
That's okay. I told you
Okay.
what I want to do.
Okay. So did it ask you to be more specific about your ideal client and ask some questions?
No.
No, it said you were specific enough.
Yes.
Awesome. So you can move on right away to the next prompt. Doreen, do you need some help?
No, I'm just copy pasting all of the things.
Okay.
I'm moving along here. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, so that's what I want you to keep doing. Follow along, and I'm going to keep going if that's okay. And my goal for the next 15 minutes is for you to get to the end of document number 1 and program this thread to be talking like you. And if you need to get more specific about your audience, meaning you need to know, those more specific details, we have to have that to get to that next step of the professional branding consultant. Charlotte.
Will you recap in the form number 1, each of those boxes? I'm getting confused. I want to make sure that I'm putting the right chat GPT or personally written things in each of those, long version, 1 sentence version, etc.
Absolutely. So first, in the long version, it's going to grow this, where we did 10 refined descriptions. 10 refined descriptions of your ideal client. You're going to copy these 10, and that's going to go right here.
Okay.
Now, this next prompt is you're a professional branding consultant. Your objective is to help me create a highly engaging personal brand. Now, what I did is I put one of my 10 audiences in here. You can put all 10 if you'd like. I'll show you what that looks like. If I copy this and I go back to chat, you can see here's all 10. So I did it once with just this audience of former athletes. And then it gave me, based on my audience and the goal of creating highly engaging brand, here's a bullet point summary that encapsulates my brand's essence. So that's what's going to go in that document number 2, those 10 things. But I'm only speaking to one of my ideal clients. Now, what if I want to speak to all of those things it gave me? So I'm going to put that same prompt in again. And instead of just one audience, I'm going to go right up here and I'm going to copy all 10 of these. So for Christelle, that would be perfect for you. Copy all of those 10 audiences and come back. And I'm going to put that right in here. And don't worry, it's not too much yet. And now I'm going to ask it to do the same thing again based on all of those audiences. So we're not getting super specific. And now it's telling me to create a brand that resonates with my diverse and sophisticated audience. Here's a bullet point summary that captures the essence of the brand.
So we can either put one or all 10 of the one sentence versions in that box.
Correct. Just do all 10. Just do all 10. And that way it's going to speak to your whole brand. So you're going to copy this prompt, you're a professional branding consultant, and you're going to put all 10 of your audiences in there. And this is what you copy to go into document 2 right here. My brand is all about. And this should start to really resonate with you. You should read these 10 things and it should really sound like, oh yeah, that's somebody I would like to work with. Robert, go ahead.
Sorry, I didn't realize I must have missed something. I did the my audience. It seems to find, but let's dig deeper. They gave me 4 questions. I answered those questions 1, 2, 3, 4. Great insights. With that, your refined audience description could look something like this, which was a sentence.
Okay.
Somewhere I missed the 10, I think.
Yes. Did you do this prompt right here? You're a professional branding consultant?
No, so I guess above 10, oh, those were the areas. So I guess I narrowed that down. So that's what I didn't get. And just do your professional consultant.
Yes.
Okay, thanks.
Yes. So once you do this prompt with all 10 of your audiences, you're going to get more information. Okay.
That's what I was saying. Somewhere I missed along the lines. I did the first one. My audience is. They said that it seems to be defined. Let's dig a little deeper. They asked me 4 questions.
And you answered those questions.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Great.
And then I got back great insights. With that, your refined audience description could look something like this.
Okay. So now what you want to do is, based on the above, give me 10 options of a more clear and defined way to describe my audience. You missed a prompt. Once you do that, then we're going to go to the next one, the branding consultant.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And if anybody else has a question, just raise your digital hand down the bottom and that pops up on the screen so I can see that. Okay, so I'm going to give you a few minutes. We'll take to the top of the hour so you can catch up. And I will take some questions. Your last prompt is to put all of that in with the branding consultant. And on your document, that's right here. Who needs help?
Trying to show me again the that question where you asked for the 10?
Which one, Robert?
The one that I didn't see, where you mentioned, can you provide 10
Yes.
stores or?
Let me find it for you. I'll put it in the chat.
Great, thank you.
Do you have the Google Drive folder as well?
I do.
Okay, just making sure.
Hey, Suzanne,
Yes.
I used a word that ChatGPT picked up that I didn't like, retirement, and it went down a path of retirees, and so I had to go back and inform it that that wasn't the path I wanted to take.
Totally. Yeah.
And it seemed to respond to that and took me down a path where I felt more comfortable. I
Great.
thought that.
Great point. If you get results and you're like, oh, no, that's not my people, you can say, please remove mention of X. Disregard this person, and then create results based on everyone else. Good job, Craig. Charlotte.
I put in requesting the 10 like subsets of targets. And because I had said HR managers in tech companies, every one of them says something about HR managers in the US, but it has just these little variations, but they're not very significant. It's not something that I see. Do you have a suggestion of what I can change to get a better diversity of who I'm targeting?
Yeah, I would say go in and prompt, and this is just a little custom on the fly, is please expand the audience to include other Fortune 500 companies that would benefit from what I do.
Should I take out the HR manager title?
No, I would just ask for more because that is one of your titles. I would just ask for more and different. Please expand upon.
Okay, thank you.
Kim.
Yeah, so this has been really interesting. And I was going to say one thing so I went through the branding consultant prompt, and then I actually went back and asked it again to name me a real life entrepreneur that kind of had a similar brand.
Yeah, that's next.
Well, I was going to say it actually came up with a really interesting result, different from an earlier result, which was much more precise. I just wanted to share that with the group because it was really interesting to see how it learned and then adjusted its response.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really helpful. And this will help you in your, I'm really big on competition research, and not from a, ooh, look what they're doing way. This is a way to look at the market and, depending on what you do, know what's selling, what's not selling, what are they doing to sell their products or services, and where are they in the price point. And so what you're going to notice, the next prompt is for it to give you a famous person who does what you do and analyze their brand. And this is really, really helpful in your positioning in the online space. If you're a mindset coach or if you're an executive coach, like how do you know if your offer is valid? If your pricing is, you don't want to be the lowest price person out there, correct? If you're hanging out with me, the answer is no. You don't want to be the lowest price person out there. But you want to be positioned so that you can accentuate your unique genius. Like, I happen to be a genius with technology and I love it. So why wouldn't I include technology with my business coaching? That really helped me see to lean into that feature that's unique to me. What does that look like for you? Any other questions before we go on to the next prompt? Okay. Here we go. Based on the above, the next prompt is for our competition. And this is a really cool prompt. I'm going to grab it for you first. In document 1, can you name a very popular real life entrepreneur that might have a similar brand, and then list the same 10-point summary for them? If you don't like the result it gives you, ask for another option. This is the beautiful thing about ChatGPT. So now I'm going to paste this here, and I already know who it's going to give me, I think, but, oh, wrong prompt.
Mine came up as Suzanne Taylor King.
Did
I'm
it?
kind of excited.
Well, that's awesome. Am I famous? I'm blushing.
Uh,
All right. Can you name a very popular real life entrepreneur that might have a similar brand and list the same 10-point summary for them? So what you're doing right now is you're kind of noting who's out there and kind of famous doing what I do at a really high level.
I have Tony Robbins.
That's who
He
it's
and I
going
are
to say.
just like the same.
I think that's what it's going to say for me too, but we'll see. Yep.
Yeah, I got Elon Musk.
Ooh.
I like that.
yeah, I did too, Robert. Sorry, Suzanne. I was just.
Great.
Hopefully you guys
I got
don't have
this
babies
special.
by that many women, right? Like I'm just saying.
We do not.
Okay,
Well, I
good.
know.
See, I like off-color humor, so that's my way of making you laugh. All right, so now it's going to give me some information on Tony Robbins' brand. Now I can ask it to give me another one if I would like, and another one, and then another one. And you can do your market research just like this. Really, really easily. Now I'm going to stop with Tony Robbins because I've already done this before, but your 10-point summary, you're going to put that in your document number 2. My brand is all about. You're going to put your 10-point summary. Then we're going to move on to this one. And this is where your superhero is coming into play. This is the prompt that we're going to use. And we're going to use the whole audience description and what you stand for, what I stand against, your flaws, and your principles. Now, this is really fun too, and this is elective. What 10 principles might they live by? This is totally if you're interested in what principles those famous entrepreneurs might live by, to see if your brand is in moral and value alignment with that brand. That's totally up to you and totally elective. You don't need to do that for this. Robert, did you have your hand up again?
I did. So I was going to ask you if it will screw anything up. I don't think it will because we're just putting in individual searches. But based on what you had said before, you like quotes. I love movie quotes. So I was like, it's their fictional character that instead of the real life person. And I happen to I got Tony Stark. So I guess that kind of had one question for me.
Yeah.
Even though Tony Stark was my original person.
Yeah, that means that you're on the right track with it communicating like you'd wanted to. So that's a good confirmation for you.
I don't know how to raise my hand. I'm sorry, I haven't figured that out yet on Zoom.
That's okay. It's down the bottom.
I can't find it.
Go ahead.
When you say paste the prompt was paste for against flaws, that's the superhero?
Yes.
Okay. What if we didn't resonate with any of them?
Then make up your own.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep. What you stand for, what you stand against, and be bold with it. Taking a stand against something that reinforces what you stand for. And you don't have to talk about what you stand against, but it's going to help it talk more like you if you're bold with that. Now, once we get to this prompt where it says my audience is, that's where you're going to put all 10 of those audience descriptors. Now, if you want to shorten that up, here's what you can do. You can come back to chat, and this is not on document number 1, but this might be helpful to say, please summarize my brand and who my ideal client is in 4 sentences. And so now you're going to have something shorter to paste in. So you're going to want to save that. And there's a spot in document number 2. It says 1 sentence version, but I can't ever say just 1 sentence. So whatever works for you. And you're going to copy this. Now I'm going to copy that. Well, actually, I'm going to 3 things. So I'm taking this prompt now. And see, this is the step that most people miss with ChatGPT or any AI software. They miss this piece of the programming of it. And you're going to understand why you get such good results when you do it. Now I'm going to copy this summary. And is this helpful seeing me do it? Yes? Okay. I hope so. Okay, so now I've typed that in there. And now I'm going to grab my superhero. Where did I put my superhero? All right, I'm just going to type it in. Okay, so this is a long prompt. I stand for honesty. Okay, so now I've programmed it with the branding consultant prompt and my audience, and then my superhero at the end, all in one long prompt. So you start with the branding consultant, you put your client in, and then you're going to put your superhero in at the end and hit send. Dr. Dorothy, you have your hand up.
Yes. How much of this is possible because of Chat 4 versus the other?
Well, I think you're going to get much better results with 4. you'll still get results with 3, but it's not going to be as detailed, and it's not going to pull from the internet like 4 does.
Okay, so it's well worth the difference.
I think so, yes. When I show you what's possible with the plugins,
Yeah.
we haven't even enabled any plugins. This is just raw data from ChatGPT. Yes, videos, graphics for social media. The list goes on and on and on. What you can do, there's thousands of plugins with 4 that are all free.
All right. So with my research, then looking at the impact of psychospiritual elements onto physical healthcare, the scientific research of what's going on at NIH and those places really serves me to have access to that. All right.
Yes. I have found that anyone who deals with neuroscience, psychology, coaching, any of those where we want to legitimize what we're saying, pulling from scientific research papers is huge, huge. Because you can literally ask it to create a blog post for you based on the psycho-spiritual effects of trauma affecting leadership in a female CEO. And it writes a blog post for you and will cite 4 resources where that information came from. Well, that's amazing to me, right? Yeah. You're welcome. Oh, Catherine, you got Brene Brown? That's awesome. Very good. Very good. So tons of great information there. Not only can you go to Brene's social media content and see what she's talking about. What are her topics? What are her content pillars? It's going to enable so much for you. And you can do that with whoever it came up with. If you want to go deeper on her, you can go to, and you can pull some of the plugins in and we can get into that. Richard Branson, that's kind of cool. He doesn't run any of his companies. He's just,
I know.
He just hires great people. He admits it all the time. He just hires great people. I love that. Craig.
Could I come back? I'm catching up, this is fantastic. So thank you. It's like I'm like so motivated this morning. It's amazing. Thank you.
Awesome.
I want to just clarify something if I could real quick.
Yeah.
With I'm on the prompt, you are a professional branding consultant. Your objective is to help me create yada, yada, yada. Am I supposed to, what I stand for, what I stand against, am I supposed to answer that, or am I going to ask ChatGPT to answer that for me?
You're going to answer that based on the very first part of the document number 1, where you chose a superhero, or you create it yourself.
Got it. Yeah, I created my own. Okay, cool.
Perfect. That's where you'll type that in.
Thanks.
Yes, Rachel. They just aren't opening it up to new people right now because their servers are pretty much at capacity. So they've just paused upgrades, I guess, until they decide on pricing and structure and where they're going with the company, which it's not a big deal. There are other services that you could use. You could use Google Bard and use these same prompts and see what kind of results you get, or just use version 3 right now.
Hey, Suzanne, a lot of my entrepreneurial colleagues are using Claude, C-L-A-U-D-E, and seem to be really happy with it. It seems to have greater capacity even than ChatGPT. I haven't done that yet.
Yeah, the thing with Claude is that you can put never-ending prompts in. There's no restrictions. And Claude is great if you want to take a YouTube video and hint, not just one of yours, one of somebody else's videos, and analyze it. So Catherine, you could take Brene Brown's TED Talk, put it into Claude, and say, give me the bullet points on this.
Even ChatGPT does that with the
Yes.
plug Vox AI. What is that? There's a plug that
Yes.
allows you to read websites, videos with ChatGPT.
Yes. Yeah,
So,
but it has to be ChatGPT 4
yeah,
to
it
do
has
that.
to be 4, of course.
Yeah, go ahead,
So,
Christelle. You have a question?
Yes. Have you played with the GPTs yet?
With the what?
GPTs. You know, when you go on ChatGPT, on top you will see features, I think. When you click on that, it allows you to create GPTs. I've been playing with that, and it allows me to create different things, kind of different profiles for ChatGPT, for social media management, for pitching my clients and things like that. And then if we wish each one of them, you put different instructions, it does different things. And I think it works with the AIRMP.
I think so. I think it does. Yes. Which I would say everybody in this room isn't there yet, but there is that option when you have the paid version to create your own, and then each thread that you create will be based on that same language. All right. Are we all caught up? I want to share with you my results, and I want you to see how specific this is. And this right here blew me away, the brand fusion. The fusion of entrepreneurial expertise with personal growth is highly congruent with my audience's needs, and it's congruent with how I want to show up. The focus on scaling businesses, stress management, and work-life balance is well suited for high-earning, experienced entrepreneurs. And then it gives me suggestions about what to add in my content that's going to attract those people. So now it's going to give me an updated ideal client profile, what I stand for, what I stand against, my flaws, and my principles. And then it's going to give me a little evaluation that I'm well positioned to engage my target audience effectively. That's where we want to end up. That's the final goal. And if you don't get that at the end, we need to go a little bit deeper. Now, your next prompt is you've decided that this is your brand. And this is where it gets fun, is we're going to put that in. I've decided the above is my brand. And given that my intention is to alienate and repel my non-ideal customers and audience, how would you write an on-brand voice and tone guide and make it a 10-point bullet list? So this is perfect if you have a team of people creating for you or just for you. And this is going to be your brand and tone guide. And if you want even more detail here, you could add something that you've written and include that with the prompt and ask it. So you're going to get some things that describe your brand and give you a guide. You're going to copy that and you're going to just put it right in this document in your brand summary. And then if it's on target, you don't have to do that one. And keep going until you're satisfied with it. So if this doesn't resonate with you, change it. Say, take out number 2 and add this. Oh, I'm not really bold and assertive. Take out number 7 and add this instead. So you see where I'm going. We're refining that audience to make it even more specific. And once you're satisfied with that, you are going to ask, please rewrite this so it's easy to understand. And this is just going to simplify it if you work with a VA or a team of people, and give direction to, say, your social media person. So if you have somebody creating content for you, this is perfect. This is going to tell them exactly what to do for your brand. After that, this is really fun. The visual identity section. Visual identity. This means fonts, colors. Should I have a minimalistic tone or should I be bold and colorful? What is it that's going to attract your ideal person? So now I have those instructions for my team if I need them. And here's the visual identity section. Now, when we get these results, and I've done this a couple times for my own brand, I want you to see, if you've never seen my website, for those of you that have seen my website and have seen my branding, my colors are blue, gray, white, and look at this, gold and deep green. I use those all the time for my accent colors. Now, how did I know that? Before I did this brand, I didn't. It's what I picked naturally to go with my personality and who I wanted to attract. But apparently I was right on target. This will also give you some recommendations for font, your clothing style to attract that ideal person, and then imagery. This is really important, this piece, if you're going to use AI to create images for you. So now you're going to save that visual identity in a document in number 2. And then adjust if it's not correct. Adjust your colors. Adjust your font if you have something you prefer. Okay. Then you're going to get to the offer piece. Now, how many of you have designed an offer? How many of you, or I should say, how many of you don't have an offer? How many don't have a clear offer for your clients? Okay, cool. We're good. See me after class if you don't have an offer. Okay, your next step. How are we doing?
We have like just a few minutes to catch up.
Yeah, go ahead. Catch up. Any questions while we're catching up?
Random question. So as far as color palette goes, they hit one of them naturally. Can you play around with this and like to test it? Like instead of just going and saying replace secondary color with, I give them mine. Will this know enough at this point if I said, could I use this as a color palette? Or can you suggest if using such and such as a color palette would be on brand?
Well, personally, you could. Personally, I would say, could you recommend another color palette that includes the one it was correct on that would appeal to my ideal clients, and add whatever else you think,
Shift it. I don't think I put in anything. I'm in New York, so I am a big sports fan. There's 2 certain colors that stand out with pretty much the majority of sports teams. Yeah. So, and that was in my mindset. They gave me blue, but then they picked gold. Anyway, yeah, I can see how that works. But by the way, this is really cool.
Cool. Glad you like it. Glad you like it. All right, the next part, we're really going to see if your offer is in alignment with your brand. And this is really insightful, at least it was for me. My offers 2 years ago were totally different than what they are now. The visual piece was the same, but the way I talk about my offers is different because I wasn't resonating with my ideal client. Now, it's much easier to resonate with a person who wants to do a workshop like this, doesn't want to sit and go to a workshop where they listen about my career and how great I am, right? They're hands-on. They want to do the work. They want to take action, and they want to see how that action can make a difference for them. That's my ideal person. So of course, my brand needed to represent that. And, following advice of I don't know how many different online gurus that my webinars or my workshops had to be structured in a certain way, I hated it because it wasn't giving enough information. It wasn't giving enough action. It wasn't inspiring enough results. It was too much of this. Too much fluff. Oh, that makes sense. So that's the point you're trying to get to. All right, any questions before we go the next step to see if your offer is in alignment? All right, here we go. All right, so your next prompt, and if you have to go grab your offer, then go do that. You're going to copy this. Here's a description of my business and current offers. And we're going to condense this. I help blank solve blank by doing blank. You have to be concise with this. And if you need help, let me know. I'm good with doing this on the fly. You're going to paste this in. I help to say. Okay. All right. So once you have that filled in, I help blank solve blank by doing blank. Or you could say, I help blank do blank without blank so they can blank. Has to be really concise. Do you need that fill in the blanks in the chat? Super simple. I help blank do blank so they can blank without blank. I'm going to pick on Charlie. I help CEOs figure out what's next so they can move out of corporate without overwhelm. Dorothy, I help female leaders step into that next level of leadership so they can rise to the next level without overwhelm. Harry, I help entrepreneurs sell with dignity so they can stop feeling like a loser without overwhelm. Chris Bate, I help so Chris is a realtor, my realtor, and I help families downsize so they can enjoy their best retirement without overwhelm. Anyone need help with theirs? Judy, yours is so easy.
I know.
I help coaches get better results in their programs without working more hours. Easy.
Yeah, love it. I
So
just want to
easy.
see what you'd say. That's cool. Thanks.
Okay.
You know what, Judy, I just raised my hand for the same thing because every time Suzanne does this for me, it's a little different and it just gets better and better.
Right? Yeah.
Well, I'm glad I'm so good for everybody else's. Denise, I help female executives live longer so they can enjoy I don't want to say retirement. I want to say the next chapter without feeling like a frump.
Oh my God, you should check out the people down here in Florida lately. Oh, they're all frumping. They're all frumping. They all need my help.
They all need your help. All you have to do is go to Starbucks and sit. You meet a couple clients.
Seriously. All right, that's my goal for the week.
That's your new t-shirt. Your new t-shirt is ditch the frump. Love it. I love it. Who else needs help? Nagore, I help businesses enhance their online presence and streamline their digital marketing efforts so they can. Oh, beautiful. Awesome. Yes. Very good. Dump the frump. My other favorite phrase, be the dumper, not the dumpy. That's just a personal philosophy. That's great, Harry. Denise, you got to use that. Dump the frump.
I'm getting a t-shirt. I am going to get the t-shirt.
I'm having it made for you.
Okay.
Kimberly, excellent. Oh, Catherine, that's wonderful. Beautiful. Okay, so once you have that, Deanna, awesome. All right, so once you have that, you're going to come back in and you're going to put that here. And you're going to hit enter. And this is going to give me 10 principles that align with me and my audience. Things that are important to me that are also important to my audience. let's let that finish working. And you're going to fill out, we're going to get to your mission statement next, but we have to do a few more things. The next prompt, if you had to guess 10 behaviors that I engage in that would resonate with my ideal client, this is really cool. Now make sure you're copying all of this and saving this in your document. The boxes I've provided are for the big important ones, but you should be saving all of this. This is really relevant information. So now we're to the point where, based on my brand and audience, here's 10 behaviors that resonate with them and my brand. Now, if any of those don't resonate, you're going to adjust them. You're going to fix them. And this is really cool once we get to the why of your brand. Many of you know your why, but let's ask, based on your actual brand that we've created now, what is your why? That's the next prompt. Now, if you're falling behind, it's okay. This is for you to go forward and know how to do this. That's what's important. You have all the information you need to take as long as you want to do this. But look at these whys for me. This is huge for your brand. To know the whys of why you're doing things helps you talk to your ideal client. Okay. Now, once you've tweaked your whys, you can ask it, are they on brand? Or you can just move on to the next one. If you had to guess 10 enemies of the brand, 10 enemies of the brand, and just paste that in. And now, because it's programmed with all of your information, it's going to give me 10 enemies. These are things that I can be polarizing about online and have my content speak to. You know, some of your content needs to be positive and some needs to speak out against things that you're against. So this is really helpful in that. Now I'm going to do one more and then I'll let you catch up. This is catchphrases. Like we just said, dump the frump is for Denise. Let's see what it comes up with for me. If you had to guess 10 catchphrases that my brand might have. These are things that could be your headlines, your hooks to grab people on social media. And no fair if you see these on my social media sometimes. You can just say, hey, I know where that came from. And see if they resonate. Or if you have a catchphrase, if you have a tagline, add that in. After it comes up with 10, say, please include my tagline of this. All right, last one I'm going to do, and then I'm going to take questions and I'm going to stop. Given what you know about my brand, can you give me a summary of my brand? Start with the summary my brand is all about. Okay, now while that's working, that is given me, you're going to paste all these things in here. Your voice and tone description, your visual identity, paste your colors, paste your typography, clothing style, imagery, behaviors. Here's a spot for your whys. Here's a spot for your enemies. Here's your catchphrases. So if you've made a copy of this document like you're supposed to, you will have all of this at the ready for you to create content in the future. Now, we're going to get to this last thing today. Hey, Jason, welcome. Who has a question and needs a few minutes to catch up? How are we doing? Kimberly, was that a question for me? No, you're just sharing. Okay. How do we feel? Go ahead, Robert.
Quick question. I sometimes when I throw in that or the following whys on brand or something, I'm getting a seems that your list of why statements you mentioned might not have been provided. Do I need to add those back in, or is that maybe a ChatGPT-4 thing?
I'm not sure. Depending, you asked it for your whys and it gave you 10?
Yeah.
And then say, do those whys seem to be on brand? And it says what?
And then the next prompt, yeah, so I got the 10, these why statements align with your principles of your brand, emphasizing support, empowerment, yada, yada, yada. Are the following whys on brand? Question mark. I apologize, but it seems that the list of why statements you mentioned might not have been provided. Could you please share the why statements you have in mind so that I can assess whether you're aligned with your brand?
It could be. Try asking it, just say, my apologies, the whys listed above, are they on my brand for me?
Yeah, that's what I had to do. I had the exact same issue. So
Okay.
I did what Suzanne just said.
Okay. Okay, that's good. I'll change that prompt around.
And does it matter that it's in all caps? Is that done for a specific reason?
That just lets you know if you need to paste in your stuff, you can paste it there.
Oh.
But it doesn't matter. You can write in all caps anytime you want. Okay. And I know that's a lot. I know that where we've gone today is probably deeper than you've gone before in a thread on ChatGPT. But from this thread, what's possible to create from here? And I just want to expand your mind for 2 seconds. I'm going to show you Jason's completed brand guide. So this is continue following document number 1, pasting, and then going on to document number 3 and following those prompts for your brand. And Jason has finished all of that. And Denise, I took one step further than that and created all of her launch materials. So meaning her opt-in ideas, 10 different opt-in ideas, 5 different workshop ideas, scripts for all of that. Then her actual opt-in, all the sales page language to sell her offer, plus the emails to send out. So if you've ever been overwhelmed with selling your offer, this is the answer, because you will have all the assets, not only the roadmap, but you will have all the assets actually created for you. Denise, what did you think when I handed over the assets to you?
I was totally blown away. You know, you and I started doing it together and I could see how it was working. I was like, it was more in depth than I had ever gotten into. And I actually have done a brand strategy with someone, paid for it. You know, that didn't really jive with who I am and what I do. You know, so I mean, it was interesting that the things that were coming out are all things that I say, but it said it a lot better.
Yeah. And I think that's important, you know. Anytime you're looking to up level what you offer, okay, so it could be up leveling your pricing, working with a higher level client, attracting more people to you. You have to get out of your own head and use the language and the things that work out there in the marketplace. And I know personally, I've been guilty for years of thinking, oh, well, I understand what I'm selling, so everybody else is going to understand. No, not true, not at all. So about 2 years ago, really looking at, well, what works attracting clients? For me, I had to talk to them. I had to talk to people in order for them to become clients of mine. But yet I kept posting on social media expecting it to make me money. And it didn't until I changed my language to suit the reader of the content. Now I have people reaching out to me. Amazing. But you have to do it in a way that your ideal client, and this isn't manipulative at all. It's actually more authentic because you're speaking their language. You're not where your clients were, right? We're ahead of our clients, hopefully. And sometimes we forget what that feels like. So this really helps you get into the head of your ideal person. Catherine, yes, it does work for specific products. And I do use it to create products, workshop ideas, opt-in ideas, and so on and so on. I'm not doing that today, but if you want to talk about that, I'd be happy to talk about what that looks like. I love having different ideas for things instead of, you know, me thinking I'm going to create this PDF or this workshop. I have 10 ideas for workshops and pricing suggestions based on the marketplace. You know, Tony Robbins offering a workshop. How much does he charge for it? It pulls all that into play when you're asking it for ideas. So it's really cool. Any other questions? Okay, I'm going to show you what's next and what's possible. I'm going to give you a little peek at Jason's. He's been so kind as to give me a little peek as to what he created doing document 1 and document 3 and pasting it all into his brand summary. So he followed instructions really, really well. And he started pasting all of his information, the long version of his brand, the 1-sentence version, his mission statement, the audience, the brand pillars. That's that he's 4 things. His flaws. Sorry, I won't show everybody that, Jason. His principles. His voice and tone. So now, can you see how it being like this in a document for you moving forward will change how you program, how you use ChatGPT, but also how your brand shows up for your ideal client. So he kept going, visual identity, the behaviors, his whys, his enemies, catchphrases, offer principles. Okay, now, once you're to the offer principles, and you have the brand is all about. That's when you can do your mission statement. And then your brand guide is done. Then when you want to create content, you can ask it based on this brand guide. And now, what you do moving forward after today, because I want you to walk away and take action, you're going to go to document number 3. You have your brand summary all filled out, and you're going to go to document number 3. And this is going to teach you step by step, like we did today, how to shorten your brand guide and create a content calendar for yourself based on that. From there, you can create video scripts, emails, social media content. And I've included a couple bonuses for you in your folder. And those bonuses, let me just show you what they look like. They're in this folder right here. They're in the bonuses. And I'm going to give you a marketing prompt to help you look at your calendar. Then the other bonus is this document right here, which is the client mind reader activity, in case you need to really get into the headspace of your ideal client. All right, I'm going to stop, take questions, insights. Jason is a wizard at his craft. Yeah, I could thank Jason for my podcast. If any of you have noticed my upgraded podcast, that's all Jason. Thank you for being a demo, Jason. All right. Hit me with your questions. Nikki, go ahead.
Well, I was just thinking, years ago, I did a group coaching program and I had the people fill out a JOT form that asked about their problems, challenges, what they wanted. Could I take their answers and paste them in ChatGPT with some kind of an instruction to help me fill out some of the earlier steps?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that would be awesome. And take the results and put them in, and then ask for a summary, and ask for it. If you just have ChatGPT, just ask for a bulleted summary of those results.
Okay.
ChatGPT 4 can put it in a draft for you, you know. Let me know if you need help with that.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions? Go ahead, Catherine.
Yeah, so I filled in some stuff for this of things that I hope to build that aren't quite built yet. Does that still work?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely. And then you can use it to build it for you. Okay, that's what I did for Denise. So Denise already had a product created, but we used it to create all of the assets that she needed to launch her product and put it out there into the market.
So would I do this whole process for each aspect of the product that I want to create under the big umbrella of what I am? Or do I use this as the big umbrella and create under
Use this for the big umbrella. And then when it comes to creating a product, you get to the bottom of this thread, and you have your brand guide all filled out. You're going to have a brand summary, and then you take your brand summary and create the product. Based on this brand summary, give me 10 opt-in ideas for my ideal client. Then based on those opt-ins, you pick one, create a product after that. There's a lot to it, but you get the idea. Once you have this brand guide in place, you can really, the sky's the limit for what you want to create.
Awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thanks, Chris. All right. Any other questions? I'm here to help. I'm staying. If you have to go, I get it. I'm going to share a link with you right now that if you want the access to this replay, it's going to be in my new members area for my community. It's $10 a month to be in that community, or $100 for the year. You get a workshop like this every single month, plus a book club. So it's by far exceeds the $10 a month value. Many of my clients are in this room today. Thank you, Nicole. And I'm including some bonuses with this training because it's going to be on Evergreen in the community. And the bonuses are a calendar prompt, all the prompts you need for creating products, and then my Chat GPT library of over 600 prompts you'll have access to in Notion. Christelle, did you have a question, sweetie?
I don't know if I missed that, but if you have a personal story that you want to integrate in your content, where will you use that?
So once your brand guide is finished, I have a story post prompt that uses a principle to create stories. I don't know if you know the hook, story, close, or hook, story, transition, call to action. So I have a prompt, it's pretty big, that I program and then ask it to tell me a story. How many of you have seen my story posts on social media? Story about adoption, story about business failure, story about a mistake, story about making my first 6 figures, my first business, all written with Chat GPT, but they're stories about me because I am asking it to write a story and I give it the whole story, but I'm having it do the framework for me. I'm having it come up with the hook, the transition, and the call to action. So I don't have to do that. I just come up with the story, which it could be a story about getting lipstick on my cup, right? And then putting it in the microwave and hearing what happened to the cup. Could be something silly from real life and transition that into business. And that's really a magical thing to be able to do that. So yes, I will share that prompt with you if you want it. Rachel, do you have any questions?
No, this was really, really good. Thank you so much. I saved all the documents. Actually, though, I do have a question. So I copied them, but now where do I find the copy at? I'm pretty challenged sometimes.
Okay, so do you have a Google Drive folder or a Google Drive account?
I do.
Okay, so what you're going to want to do, you made copies of them. They're now in your Google Drive.
Okay.
And if you copied the whole folder, just look for the folder in your Google Drive and it should all be there. If it's not, just reach out to me and I'll help you.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. Yes, this was great. I'm excited to get it all caught up, and I was watching it as you were saying, so thank you.
You're so welcome. So now, just full transparency, this is what I do with my clients. So I have a mastermind group. I have a new group starting in January. And if you're interested in creating your product, your offers, your opt-in, everything I did for Denise last week, and you'll do it step by step with me over a 3-month period, reach out, put your email in the chat, and we'll book a time and we'll talk about what that would look like for you in your business. And it's different for everyone. Everything I do is custom. You will be in a group of people, but you get one-on-one attention because to me, coaching is custom. And so all of my group programs, I only take enough people that I can still give that one-on-one attention to, just a personal belief. You're welcome, Linda. You're welcome, Kim. Any other questions? I'll hang out if you have them. Thank you, Harry. Harry's awesome. He does everything I tell him. So Charlotte.
You give great advice.
Well, thank you.
Great.
You're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome,
You're the
Craig.
best, SDK. We'll see you next
Thank
time.
you.
Thank you. Just joined your community. I'm in.
Awesome.
Worth it.
It's not going public until January. So if you get in for December, you'll help me actually create it, which is really fun.
Awesome. Take
Thank
care.
you.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
everybody.
Nice to meet y'all.
See ya. Bye.
Make sure you save the chat and connect with each other. Judy, go ahead.
Yeah, so it took more time than I think you meant, because you at one point in time said you were going to talk about the plugins that were there for.
Yes.
Yeah. Are we going to get that in a next thing somewhere?
I guess so. I guess so. But I'll show you how to, I'll take a minute and show you how to enable them, because it's really, really cool, and it'll blow your mind what you're capable of doing. So right up here where it says Chat GPT-4, when you start a new chat, you can click on this little plugin tab right there. And the plugin store. All right, so I have Vizsla opened, which is video creation. So I'm going to undo that. And you can click on here. All right, so I'll do that again. Go to the plugins. And you can, these are all the ones I have installed. And if you want my opinion on which ones to get, I'll happily do that. But you can go all the way down to the bottom to the plugin store, and this cool little window is going to pop up, and there's thousands of plugins to choose from. And personally, I love Ask Your PDF. That's where if you have a PDF document on your computer, say it's a whole book, you can drop it in there and then use ChatGPT to answer questions about that book or summarize it or give you action steps. Maybe if you've created a PDF, I know Denise has her book in PDF form. You could drop it in there and then create your own custom ChatGPT based on your book and ask it questions.
Cool.
Yeah.
Now I'm raising my hand.
Go ahead, Denise.
I was just looking, can you hear me? Yes. Yep. I was just looking on my ChatGPT, which I pay for. Don't have a drop-in for plugins.
Share your screen.
Okay.
It's probably in a different place. You probably have a different version.
Let me share screen.
Oh yeah,
please.
Robert, what did you think of today? I know you're
loved it. It was good running through all the prompts. So I was following along and doing it, and it's like, oh yeah, because every approach creates an additional richness to the answers. So so I really like that.
Yeah, I really enjoyed yours. It was phenomenal.
Okay. I did have one super quick question. Is your membership AI focused, or is it AI and marketing and business? Like you're going to be
it's
topics?
business growth and community. There's it's all of my courses and all of my content. So definitely not AI focused at all. Though this AI thing that I do will be a portion of my work moving forward, but the community's not focused in that aspect. No. All right, Denise, click on your name on the lower left. Go to settings. go to beta features, click plugins on.
Got it.
There you go. That's all you need.
Oh, okay. So then when I go back here, oh, there it is. Okay, perfect. Okay, cool.
Yep.
Thank you,
So
ma'am.
for you, you're going to want the image creator, you're going to want the video creator, you want the scientific, the one that pulls from scientific research papers.
Yeah.
I like the diagrams one. And there's numerous pages down the bottom, so you can scroll through them.
Cool, thank you.
Oh, once I get off the list and have the paid version, I'll hit you up for the ones you recommend.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Thanks. This was great. I love it. This is so cool.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Cool
Glad you
deal.
liked it. My plan is for this workshop to be in the new members area. And then from there, I'll add the bonuses to it. And as I grow with doing this, I'm going to add to that one AI section. And if you want access to my Notion dashboard with all the AI prompts, I'm happy to share that as well.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Can't wait to play with it some more. Thanks.
Welcome.
Bye.
Hey,
Igor,
Sue,
what you think?
sorry I missed your text earlier. I was out
Oh, that's
running.
okay. That's okay. Glad you're enjoying the warm weather.
Yeah, that's why I can't do my hair has been wet since I got down here. It doesn't dry because it's
too humid.
humid.
Yeah. Igor, what did you think of today?
Yeah, today's session was really awesome, and I really like the idea of the plugins one. So the session was very helpful for me in terms of creating content for my business. Also, just wanna share one thing.
Yeah.
Like, thank you so much for your guidance and helping craft my offer. You made my job easy.
Oh, I'm so glad.
Thanks.
I'm so glad. Have a great
Can I
day,
run?
everyone.
Bye.
David,
How'd you do?
how'd you do?
Oh my God.